All right, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have Houston Rocket news. This is probably one of the few times it hasn't been some clickbaited article in the offseason for the Houston Rockets. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that sub button. I am 45 subscribers away from 5,000. I am feeling pretty confident that I will hit it at some point today just because it seems like with the NBA offseason kind of getting going, it seems like it could get a banger out here. So a like video really helps out the algorithm as well. But you see the title, man. The Houston Rockets are reportedly interested in Daniel Theis. Now, this is a tweet that came out from Chris Fedor, I want to say. Basically, the tweet said the Houston Rockets are reportedly a team to watch when it comes to Bulls free agent center Daniel Theis in free agency. Sources say keep an eye on Daniel Theis to Houston this offseason. That signing could help fill a front court void. Now, as a Chicago Bulls guy, I feel like I can offer a unique perspective because there is no way that any of you guys watch Daniel Theis on a consistent basis. Because who was watching the bench squad at Boston at any point in their life? Unless you're a Boston fan. And I don't think I have too many Boston Celtic fans. So Daniel Theis to me is a really solid player. He is only 28 years old. He is a good power forward, a good center. And the Houston Rockets, they could probably use him. He's a career 34% three-point shooter. He takes about 2.5 per game, makes him at a clip lower than that. So I'm not too big on the Daniel Theis train coming to Houston. One of the main reasons is because I think the Chicago Bulls will figure out a way to get him back. Now, the Bulls have an interesting offseason as far as like free agency and cap goes. Daniel Theis, obviously unrestricted free agent here, making about $5 million a year. In his career, he averages 7.5 points per game and 5 rebounds. He's about 6'8", 245, and actually, I believe he might have turned 29. I think he actually did turn 29. So, not too old. Perfect kind of veteran-esque backup center that a lot of you guys have been looking for. I think the reason it doesn't seem like too many Rocket fans are excited is because he's not the most athletic. So going back to Chicago, it's going to be, I think it's going to be tough to get rid of him. I'm not quite sure that they're going to want to get rid of him because of how cheap he is. And I mean, they literally technically made a trade for him in the offseason. Not in the offseason, during the season. A lot of it had to do with just kind of finances. The Boston Celtics could no longer really afford him. So they went out, the Bulls made a trade for Daniel Theis. In the past season for the Chicago Bulls, he played in 23 games and actually started in 14, averaged about 25 minutes per game, and put up some good statistics. He averaged 10 points per game, which was the highest of his career, and 6 rebounds. Now, being 6'8", he's not really like a defensive elite center, which is why, as far as the Houston Rockets go, I just think that they could definitely get some better options out there. It's interesting, they might not be re-signing Kelly Olynyk anymore just based off of this report. They may not be signing Kelly Olynyk anymore because I don't know why else you would really be trying to target Daniel Theis. This is the first time a free agent has been mentioned in the this offseason for the Houston Rockets officially. So it's good news. This is kind of what I mean by I think the Houston Rockets will have a very chaotic offseason. Not chaotic, but a very almost chaotic, just a crazy offseason. I think they're going to be linked and reportedly attached to a lot of players like Daniel Theis. Those not quite 30-year-olds, but the 30-year-olds who are solid producers for teams that just aren't getting a lot of notice in the league, right? Like guys like Doug McDermott, guys like Nerlens Noel, guys like Daniel Theis. Those are the players that I expect the Houston Rockets to be interested in because obviously they are trying to get younger. They are trying to become a younger team. Stone said it himself, they're trying to get younger, they're trying to get more athletic. The thing with Daniel Theis is, to me, he doesn't fit either of those, right? He just doesn't fit either of those. I don't look at Daniel Theis, I'm like, oh yeah, wow, he's really athletic. I'm not thinking that. Now, I think it should be worth mentioning that he has played playoff games for Boston before. And just a couple of seasons ago, he averaged 9.7 rebounds in about 25 minutes per game. I think that is more of what Daniel Theis can come on and help a team. I honestly view Theis as more of a Kelly Olynyk type of player where it's like you throw him on a good competitive team and he's going to help get him to work. And honestly, if I had to make if I had to pick a side, would I rather see Daniel Theis be a Chicago Bull or would I rather see Daniel Theis be a Houston Rocket? I'm leaning 100% towards the Bulls because not only do I think the Bulls need him, right? I think the Bulls could use that big man. Bulls have a couple of big men that they have, right? They've got Laurie. That's one of the reasons I would like to see Daniel Theis return is because they had Laurie, Thaddeus Young, Nikola Vucevic, Daniel Theis. It was a pretty solid group of big men who can come in and help win games. They know what they're doing. I just think Daniel Theis is better suited for the Bulls. And another thing is, with the Houston Rockets, man, I worry he would become our starting power forward. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried that he would genuinely start. I just don't see a reason for the Houston Rockets to have two veteran-esque power forward center combos that are better suited for other teams. I mean, unless you're getting Daniel Theis at such a cheap deal, even if you are getting Daniel Theis at such a cheap deal, like $5 million, what if you go out and you draft Day'Ron Sharp or you go out and you draft JT Thor? It's are those guys just not really going to play this upcoming season? And I know it's probably not going to be that dramatic because the Houston Rockets only have, as far as our big men are right now, it's DJ Wilson, who is a free agent, Kelly Olynyk, who is a free agent, and then Christian Wood. And that's it for the big men. So from that perspective, I would accept Daniel Theis for a cheap-ish contract. However, I really think that there's going to be better options out there, man. If they were to just come out and say, yeah, we're not re-signing Kelly Olynyk and Daniel Theis will play backup center, I would be a little bit more interested in it. However, my biggest fear is that we get Daniel Theis, we get Kelly Olynyk, and then we get I think my biggest fear would be we draft Evan Mobley and another big later on in the draft, and then we re-sign Kelly Olynyk, go out and get Daniel Theis, and it's well, crap. Now how do you guys figure that out? However, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It really wouldn't be the end of the world. So a lot of this, my opinions will change on Daniel Theis after the draft. We'll get a better reading. If the Rockets don't get a big man, we need players like Daniel Theis. But I'm hoping they get a big man. They've got 3 opportunities. So anyways, guys, that's it for today. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Hit that sub button. But most importantly, should Daniel Theis join the Houston Rockets? Go ahead and leave your comment.